indirect tax changes that have been announced today. I'm guessing the big one is this dispute resolution scheme to clear outstanding litigation on account of service tax and excise duty and cesses. And of course, there are some announcements related to increase in customs duty for gold, precious metal. There is some cesses and road and infrastructure, etc. But your thoughts on what is this, scheme expected to do? How much of the backlog will this clear? How will this settlement scheme work?
Well, it's a very interesting scheme. It calls itself as dispute resolution and amnesty scheme. And I could, on a reading of the scheme, figure out that it does have an element of amnesty. So firstly, it covers disputes at all levels. So in the realm of excise duty and service tax. And it, so even if you have a amount in dispute which is before Supreme Court as an appellate forum, it covers that as well. It basically classifies taxpayers in two categories: one where the impact is 50 lakhs, and second where the impact is over 50 lakhs. Because the corresponding relief from payment of taxes is different. It is a higher relief for taxpayers where the amounts or quantums of tax involved are less than 50 lakhs, and lower for quantums which are above 50 lakh rupees. It has a dispensation from interest and penalties. And it is supposed to be a one-time declaration that needs to be made before the 30th of June. And thereafter, the scheme will apply accordingly. Now, interestingly, the finance minister spoke about over 6,85,000 crores of disputes that are locked in. It will be interesting to see how many takers we will have for the scheme, because in one shot, the government and the taxpayers both have the potential to unlock the clogged up machinery of various appellate forums. And more importantly, if you leave Supreme Court on the side and High Court on the side, we are anticipating that as a result of the new GST law, there is a capacity gap which is existing to be able to resolve disputes that are likely to come up under the GST regime. So what this will do is free up the time of appellate forums such as CSTAT, and the CSTAT forum coupled with the new appellate forum that has been set up for GST authorities then can look at a resolution of disputes under the GST law. So it is a very, very attractive scheme on the face of it. And I anticipate that you will see, I don't know eventually what amount the government will collect. And, some of the things that we were talking about in terms of the gap of collection, I'm sure that the government would have budgeted for taxpayers coming forward and availing of this amnesty and dispute resolution scheme, because there would be collection that would happen in the current financial year. You need to tie in this, central service tax and excise scheme with a scheme which is not similar, but some of the states have initiated a similar dispute resolution an amnesty scheme for resolution of VAT-related disputes. And Maharashtra, I think, was the first state that initiated it. So you could possibly see in the current financial year, many of the states having a scheme similar to Maharashtra, though personally, in my view, having looked at the Maharashtra scheme, it didn't seem to me as attractive as this scheme. Possibly the government would have picked up clues from the Maharashtra scheme not succeeding and made at least this scheme for excise and service tax very, very attractive. Now, kindly bear in mind that the quantum of disputes that are there in the area of service tax, whether they are classification related or for other reasons, are enormous. And I think this affords an opportunity for the government to put back a history, a checkered history, if I may say so, of a very, very complex law if not excise, certainly the service tax law of 1994, and unlock the dispute resolution machinery for the government once and for all in a fairly rapid manner.
I think when you strategize on this, one has to take into account what is the benefit which is being offered. The benefit, it looks like from the contours of the scheme announced, is a waiver of interest and penalties.
Okay.
Now, if it is waiver of interest, if that is what I have understood, that's huge.
Yeah.
So I really think then this is something which business will welcome, because if it means removing the uncertainty of final, of course depends on the merits of each case, but removing the uncertainty, and you asked a question depending on which stage, if it is in the courts, it will take like years to get it settled at the Supreme Court, as an example.
Right.
So whilst details are awaited, I think it's a fantastic initiative. Just to clarify, sure. I think the number we are talking of is not 6 plus, but 3.75 lakh crore.
Yeah, it's
is what she has mentioned.
Yes,
So that's one. Interestingly, about the same amount is blocked also in direct tax litigation. And for maybe a topic for a different day, but what we have been discussing with revenue for a long time, revenue administration, is that the authority for advance ruling is not really functioning well for a variety of reasons. So we have really lost a very important window to have dispute resolution done or get certainty rather well in advance. When you don't get that certainty, it increases the disputes in the system. So that's, as I said, a topic for another day. But I think equally in the area of direct tax, we should look at, hopefully when the new direct tax code comes, let's look at a scheme which will address some of the legacy issues there as well.
Wishful thinking.